And to those of you who normally watch on LinkedIn, I apologize because technology has somehow disconnected it again. They know that it's happening, but now that this is the second time it's happened, I will look for an alternate streaming service. I love Restream, which is the one I use, and it needs to be reliable. So I will put a backup into place so that won't happen anymore. And we are going to talk about how do you have a successful day. And this topic idea actually came from Greg, who is one of our trusty listeners around here. So he's some really great ideas. And I was like, what's the topic for today? And that's the first one he threw out. So I'm going for it. All right. I hope that you have had a successful day. And if you haven't, no worries, because the day is not over yet. You can reset. Oh, that rhymed. Yes, it did. Very good. All right. So I have my AirPods in because I didn't want the wrong one to pick up, but take them out because I think we're good on the audio. You may have heard when I did, was it about, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I had different tips. And one of the tips was, it was about Sunday scaries. How do you get rid of the Sunday scaries? And one of the tips was how you end your week will influence how you start your next week. And when it comes to having a successful day, I'm actually going to take that a step further. I'm going to say the way you end a day will influence how you start the next day. So the first thing we want to do to set ourselves up for a successful day is to look at how we're closing out the day before. Are you hectic and just like, getting the last thing done and then getting out of the, office or the office chair if you still work from home like me? What is it that you're doing? Or are you, putting a lid on everything and just kind of going, okay, what are my goals for tomorrow? What did I get done well today? What's still, lingering, and really putting some sort of a strategy into place. So that is important. Now, you know what? Actually, I'm even going to back up a little bit and say, what defines a successful day for you? Because, sometimes that's like, you've got like tons of business and you've got tons of work to do and you're, run ragged, but you could be unhappy. So is that a successful day? Or is a successful day like works that you're really, quote unquote busy? Or is it that you feel a sense of control, or that you get only the priorities done, or you don't actually, end up spending accidentally 2 hours on TikTok, just scrolling and not actually achieving anything? Like, what is a successful day for you? And I would actually encourage you to think back on the last 2 weeks, just the last 2 weeks, maybe even the last month or the last 3 days, and say, would I consider the days I've had to be quote unquote successful days for me? Are they days that I would want to duplicate if I had to repeat those days that I had for the next 2 weeks for the next, 10 years? Would that actually make me feel fulfilled and happy and joyful and like I contributed something? And if the answer is no, then it's not just about setting up the day for success. We actually need to define and design the type of day that you're really trying to achieve. And you may not even know, because I think sometimes we just kind of go through the motions of life. I don't know if you've ever felt like that. It's just like you can be a little bit on Groundhog Day, things repeating, and you just kind of do this on Mondays and this on Tuesdays, and you go here on Wednesdays, and it just kind of happens by default. And I'm going to challenge you to actually design a day and go, okay, this is what I want it to look like. And this is what would make me tick. So for example, I know that for me to feel like I've had a successful day, I need to create content. I need to use my brain. I need to share all of these thoughts that are up here with someone, right? So whether that's a coaching client, whether it's a virtual keynote address, or, yay, one in person maybe soon. I'd love that. I know that if I don't do something to write, to post, to articulate my thinking then I don't feel like I've had a really great day. And so it wasn't until I finally figured that out that I was able to design days that became more fulfilling on the regular. And so sometimes we just like, it's not like I can spend all day creating content. I mean, I've got to do other things, and that's okay. But if you know, like, what are those little pieces of the puzzle? Like maybe you need time with your family, or maybe you need time, some sort of like a workout or an energizer that like, that's the thing you need to build your day around. Everybody's different. And so getting really clear about what a successful day looks like, because that's what then we can work towards. So when we know that, then we're going to close out the day before to set up the next day. If you don't do that, that's totally fine, because some people love to set up their day in the morning. Personally, I love to kind of have a sense of, well, you know what, I will do it whenever I need to do it. But I like to, sort of have a sense the night before of what I need to get done. Let me go to the comments. Isn't it funny how that goes? I also had to dissect the really good days to figure out the things that make me tick, and then simply schedule and do them. Yes, because it's like, if we can't articulate what it is that's making us tick, how do we get more of it? This is the question. And you may or may not notice, it follows my philosophy of situational awareness, self-awareness, and then we put in the solution activation. Just saying, that's what happens. All right. So next thing is the task circle. For me is so incredibly important. And if you have not yet read my book, it's about an hour and a half read. It's super short, purposefully, because it's designed for busy professionals who want to have a life without the stress. And inside of it, there is a concept called the task circle. Now, the book is less about the productivity, and it's more about increasing your outputs per hour from an attitude, mindset, habit perspective. And then I add on, like, here's the best way I figured out when you have way too much to do, how to actually figure it out. But one of the core concepts is to split your traditional to-do list into your areas of responsibility. So that means if you have to wear your sales hat, your client hat, your marketing hat, your admin hat, your human resources hat, whatever the different hats are of your jobs. And some of my clients have, they just use like different clients as different hats. Okay. So maybe they have 4 clients that they do work for. So then they have 4 different hats, and then, one for their own admin and their own business. We've got to, though, when we know what our areas of responsibility are, we have to be able to look at our calendar and see that there's actually hope for getting any focused time to do any of those areas of responsibility. Now, bring up my sample book here. See what I do? I just draw things for people. So we want to figure out, this is just one that I use for showing stories. So if we look at our days, and we have this list, and one of the things I want you to do is estimate, like, if you have a lot of things on there. I did this with a client a while ago, and she had 11 hours worth of work to get caught up on. And I'm like, okay, well then we got to find 11 hours in the next 2 weeks for you to do that time. And the problem is that people set up their days, and they've, started a meeting at 9 o'clock on Monday morning. It's going to be tough, right? So 9 o'clock on Monday morning, then they skip into another meeting. Then they've got to run here for an errand, and then they've got a meeting, and then they've got a meeting. Anybody with me here? Like, I've talked to executives who had 8 back-to-back 1-hour meetings in a day. Oh my God. And then they're wondering why they're getting their work done here when they want to be with their family. Well, that's not how we want to spend our lives. No. Most of these meetings, I want you to cut them in half. Okay? If you can't cut them in half, I want you to cut them out. Cut them out and push them away, people. We can't get our work done if that's how we're working. Unless, of course, your entire job is meetings, in which case, all the power to you. But for the rest of us, we don't have that long to be in meetings. We can't be productive and doing this. So when we set up our day, what we want to do is try to, so let's say we do have meetings, and you're going to have to obviously have some meetings. We're in a meeting heavy culture. So let's do this. Let's say your absolute best flow work time is in the morning. Okay. So we're going to block this off. So maybe, I don't know, I'm just making up times here. And we're going to get that. And that's going to be for your like heavy duty, important work. Maybe you're creating something for a client. You're working on a speech. You're doing your article. You're writing a book, whatever you're doing. Okay. Let's get a full chunk of time to set up your day for that. And then once we have a meeting booked in here, you know, those little random meetings. Okay. We don't want a meeting here, a meeting here, a meeting here. No, what we want to do is we want to stack our meetings with 10 minutes in between each. Okay, half-hour meetings, ideally max, 45, you've got to push it. Okay, 10 minutes in between each. But then let's go into meeting mode. Like, let's get a block of meetings, right? As opposed to having a meeting here in the morning, one here, and then one here. Okay, and then you're kind of interrupted. So that, to me, is really helpful. But this whole like day block of meetings, unless do one full day of meetings a week or 2 full days of meetings a week with complete no meeting days on the other days. Okay, that's the only way that works. So setting up your day for success has to do with how you're going to chunk your time. Now, sometimes what people will do is they will chunk their time and they say, okay, I'm going to do this project at this moment, or I'm going to get these tasks done. But the number of tasks they put into their calendar don't necessarily match with the amount of time they have available. And then they get frustrated because they think they failed because they didn't get it all done. But the truth is they just overshot how much they were going to get done in that amount of time. It doesn't work. It's a puzzle. Let's go here. Okay. And don't forget to set time limits on the tasks in the circle. See, now, Greg, my bangs are really, I was outside, I guess, in the wind. I feel like we're going to stop playing with the hair. All right. Don't forget to set time limits on the tasks in the circle in order to get in as many as possible. It also takes the mystery out of how to prioritize because we can look at them from a realistic place as opposed to the emotional place of whelm. Amazing. Yes. See, Greg is on the same page. Greg has read my book. And Greg has not just read my book. Greg is implementing the strategies in the book. And that, for an author, makes my heart sing. It's awesome. But this is exactly right? We want to put time limits on it. I want to take you back to a time in my life when I was burned out. And if you haven't heard my story yet, please, again, go check out the book. Check out some of my videos. Tune in every day, Monday to Thursday. I'm sure I'll tell it again. But what happened was I ultimately ended up with 2 to 5 hours of functionality a day. And I couldn't work full time. So see, my old philosophy was I could just put everything in my day, like I just work 18-hour days. And then my body said, nope, not going to do that anymore. That's not your answer. And I hit a wall. And so 2 to 5 hours of functionality before my physical pain would take over and I would just be completely useless to anything that was of thought. And so here's how I am so fascinated by that time in my life. I was actually more productive because than I am now that I'm able-bodied again. And, to some degree, right. I still have some health issues, but I'm like, I consider myself full-time working. Take that, Dr. A, who told me I'd never work full-time again. You were incorrect, my friend. But here's the thing. I was so productive because every morning I woke up and I had 2 thoughts. And the first one was insert a swear word, this hurts, because I woke up every day with severe pain. And then the second thought was, what do I need to do today to move my business forward and keep me in business? And so what that question did was it kept me in the important and not urgent category, which is where our profitability is. And if you don't know this quadrant, essentially it's, an important and urgency scale, typical quadrant. And the great quadrant, the one where we win from, is, sorry, I've obviously got a guy doing a bunch of backhoeing work out here. And I'm like, I feel like it should be going over there. But anyway, we'll deal with that after. He's doing a great job. That is not urgent, although important. Okay, so we got this quadrant. But every day I was waking up and I was figuring out what is in the highly important and sometimes urgent, but sometimes not category. And by doing that, I was able to move the business forward. And I was like, if I looked at my output per hour and my profitability per hour, it was significant. And my day was comprised of doing those things that had to happen. And it meant a lot of the stuff that wasn't important, like if it was in the quadrant of unimportant and not urgent, or unimportant and urgent, or whatever those different quadrants are, it would just sort of like fall by the wayside. And you know what? No one died. Like nobody, well, actually people did die, but not because of my not doing the tasks that weren't important. Sorry, that was an awful comment. But like I didn't go out of business. In actual fact, I revved up my business. And so I think if you start every day by saying, what are the 3 things that if I don't get anything else done today, I know will make me will move my career, my job, my business forward. Now, of course, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be in between, distractions or just the general day-to-day, but think of what are those 3 things? And so like I did that even this morning, right? I knew I had to get new video edited of my Choose the Clips for my online, like for my new demo video so people can see me speaking. I know I have to send in information for a conference I've been invited to speak to. And let me see, was that it? Yeah, that was it. Those are my 2 things that if I don't know, I also have the live and I had a couple meetings, but if I get those 2 things done today, you know what? I've leveraged today. Today's awesome. That makes it successful. But so often we don't even know what our things are that we need to get done. And so that's where this concept of task circle, putting on the different hats that we wear and only wearing one hat at a time and slotting them into our day to find the time when we can actually do them, and then starting to redesign our days so that we're always getting into flow and having something that's going to help. I mean, the reason my recognition that I needed to do content is the reason why we have a resilience reset every day at 3:15, Monday through Friday, or Monday through Thursday, sorry. And so what is it for you? And when can you put it in with an accountability that you have to show up? Because then you get into flow. And that's what we want. We want to have a bit of flow every day. And the last thing I will say about setting up a day for success is we want to harness the power of good stress. What I mean by that is the trifecta of deadline, a goal, something that needs to be accomplished, and accountability. And when we find the little sweet spot of that and little bursts of those sweet spot, because we can't be chasing a goal every second of every day, that's not how good stress works. That's called destructive stress and operating too high and close to burnout. Then we can get a lot of work done, get a lot of stuff done. And of course, the whole purpose of getting our work done is so that we have time left over for the things that really, truly matter in our lives. I'm going to close out by just acknowledging that there is a lot of stuff going on in the world. There is a lot of very, very, very heavy, devastating realities. And if you are someone who is blessed to, dare I say, have the problems that we have, then I'm going to challenge you not to squander that blessing. Don't squander it. There are a lot of people in Afghanistan, in Haiti, who right now wish that they had the problems that you and I, as professionals who have the privilege of, getting to talk to each other on camera at 3:15 on a Monday afternoon, from the safety of wherever we are. Now, that doesn't diminish your problems or anything that you're going through. I've been working with some clients lately who've just, got a lot of things going on at home, and a lot of self-confidence issues, and, just feelings of lacking worthiness, and, money challenges or whatever, like just business, they don't know where it's going. And, all of those are huge challenges in your reality as well. And that doesn't diminish or negate. It's just that there are other things going on too, and those weigh heavily on us. And so, I think that we, as people who are trying to build our business and doing the things we do, we have to acknowledge the severity of what's going on out in the world, and take some time to reflect. If you're someone who advocates or takes action on any of that, and that's the right thing for you, then yes. But we've got to have space to just recognize it and process it, and maybe have a little cry. I watched the news earlier today and had a little, I felt so overwhelmed. All those kids in Afghanistan, and just the desperation. And, I don't even know how people can, they're just the strongest people to get through that. And, I want to talk about adversity, true adversity. And it doesn't diminish. If your true adversity is that you are feeling like absolute shit every day and are completely overwhelmed and fighting with your spouse, and, that's your reality, and that's, what, we got to deal with that, and the same tools apply. But I just want to recognize the blessing that each of us has, if we're here watching this, because anyway, heart breaks for them. And just pray things get organized, and people who know what they're doing step up and fix stuff. But sometimes things can't be fixed. Yeah. Anyway, that was a little heavy for the resilience reset, but you know what? Resilience doesn't take away the suckage, right? It gives us a center point to process it and deal with it. And it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel upset and emotional and all of those different things, right? That's okay. Yeah. Anyway, I love that you're here. Thank you for being here. And you know what? I'm just going to show up and do my little bit every day that I can to lift people up and give them some ideas and insights, and stay as happy and by being in flow, and hopefully inspiring you to do the same. So if you love these resilience resets, can I encourage you to tell other people about it? Let's get a community built up here. Mind you, if we just have our small little community, I'm just as happy, because you know what? If you're here, I feel privileged. I'm grateful. Awesome. And, I'm hearing from people, why are more people not watching? I don't know. You tell me. Help me spread the word. So let's do that as well. And I hope that as you end out your day, if you're just going right now is you can get a whole another day of work in the next 3 hours or 2 hours, take some time, look at your areas of responsibility, consider, what is it that makes you tick? How can you design days that you love? And then choosing, what are those 3 things that have to happen today in order for my career, my business, my task circle to move forward? And how can I do them as efficiently and effectively as possible, so that I have time left over for the things that matter the most in life, whether it's processing some challenge you're going through, just feeling the weight of the world. We don't want to stay there too long, because we want to bring light and positive energy to whatever it is that we're are part of the world. But definitely acknowledging it. And, even just to spend some time doing gratitude. That's a great way to set up your day too, is to start from a place of gratefulness and recognizing your blessings, and, moving your body. All those different things can help set you up for a great day. So I hope that helped. And till the next time, do I dare say, may you stress less, do more, and be happier. Have a beautiful day.